Tonight, at least 10 pupils were killed and 31 others were injured. 6 of them critically in a Saturday night road accident involving a school bus and a lorry in Mwingi. The accident occurred at 11 p.m. when the pupils of St. Gabriel Primary School were returning home from a school trip in Mombasa. The cause of the accident is still under investigation, but fingers are pointed at the bus driver and the teachers who allowed the pupils to be driven past the stipulated time of 10 p.m. In the last 7 months, at least 13 students and 1 school driver have been killed while commuting in school buses. But the Saturday night accident has reignited debate on transport regulation to be remembered only when an accident occurs. When asked why the pupils were being driven past the stipulated time, Education Cabinet Secretary, that is Ambassador Amina Mohammed, dismissed the question. Here's the CS with details of pupils and the matron who perished in that fatal accident on Saturday night. Let's listen in.
Pupils have died. 2 survivors are admitted at Kenyatta National Hospital. 2 survivors at Nairobi Hospital. 6 learners had been dropped off to their homes before the accident. 26 survivors were checked and treated at Mwingi Level 4 Hospital. 23 were treated and discharged. 3 are still admitted there together with the matron.
Na leo hii nataka nitangaze hapa ya kwamba kama serikali tumeamua na tumesema, na ndio tuweze kuona kama we can get better order also in the operations za maofisa wetu ambao wanatenda kazi ya traffic, ya kwamba maofisa wote wa NTSA ambao wamekuwa mabarabarani, hawa wote sasa warudi kazi ya traffic, iwachiwe polisi. Kwa hivyo hiyo nataka kusema.
Of course, that is the president there ordering the National Transport and Safety Authority officers of the roads. So the question is, was that directive a mistake, or it's in the, for the right? Sure, I shall be talking to David Kosing, the chair of Transport Committee in the National Assembly. I shall also be engaging the Matatu Welfare Association chairman, that is Dixon Bugwa, and Motorist Association of Kenya chairman, Peter Murima. But before I engage them, here is a quick look at road carnage statistics in the country, of course that is Kenya, in order to appreciate more what these road accidents have done to this country, the havoc it has caused and the pain it has caused to so many families in this country. There you go. We're going to compare fatalities in the year 2017, that is last year, in comparison to 2018. Remember, this as of July. We still have 4 months to go before 2018 ends. So in terms of fatalities with regards to pedestrians, in 2017 the number stood at 622, and in 2018 the number is at 666. Drivers who died were 184 in 2017. Now the number stands at 180, and still, that's a very high number. And then passengers, 480 fatalities were reported in 2017 in comparison to 381 this year. And then there are pedal cyclists who stood at 31 in 2017. Now the numbers increased, is at 30. And then motorcyclists, the fatalities reported in 2017 were 283. And in 2018, the number stands at 305. So the total number of fatalities in 2018 stands at 1,731 in comparison to 2017, while the number was 664. It seems the number of accidents there are on an upward trend in Kenya. Over to accidents between the month of January and July 2018. Fatalities reported were 242. Those who were seriously injured are 456, slightly injured 591, bringing the total to 1,289. Now, let me take you through accidents involving students and pupils. July 4th, a very tragic accident took place. They killed 11 students of St. Gabriel Boarding Primary School in Mwingi, and 32 others were injured. Actually, this is August 4th, not July 4th. And then over to July 8th, 2018, the students injured, 12. These are from Kichare Primary School, that is in Kisumu County. Over to June 13th, student killed, one driver lost his life there, several others were injured. The school affected there is Starlight Academy. The accident took place at Sultan Hamoud along Mombasa-Nairobi highway. And then over to yet another accident here on June 16th, 2018. Those injured were 33. The school affected there is Kangubiri Girls Secondary School. The accident took place at Tambaya along Nyeri Mukurweni Road. Over to yet another accident involving innocent student. This time round, one person was killed, 19 others were injured. The school affected there is Rapogi Mixed Secondary School. I believe we have a last board there, and this time round on February 25th, 2018, one student lost his or her life there. The school affected is Poiwek Secondary School in Kericho. In studio, once again, I have Honorable David Kosing, who is the Chairman, Parliamentary Committee on Transport. He's joining us all the way from our CBD studios. We also have Mr. Dickson Mbugo, who is the Chairman, Matatu Welfare Association in studio. Also Peter Murima, the Kenya Motorist Association Chairman. Good evening, gentlemen, and welcome to the program. Now, Honorable Kosing, let me begin with you. You've seen the statistics there. Apparently, Kenya loses an average of 3,000 lives through road accidents annually. It's among countries with the highest road carnage globally. We're going to talk about that in detail shortly. But first, do you think we need to address the issue of road accidents with regards to, school buses? Because there are those who feel like these school buses have been neglected, and total attention is being given to the other PSVs.
Thank you, Yusuf. I think my comment on board will be, before we look at the buses of the schools, we need to know one fact, which is that about 80% of road accidents are caused by human error. This is one way or another, driver or whoever, and so on. And therefore, before we address the buses, we need first of all to address our discipline as drivers. That is basically number one. We will come to the bus later. But number one is, since these accidents are caused by 80%, 80% of these accidents are caused by human error, then I think we have to question about our own discipline. Look at what happened in this bus. And I want to send my message of condolence to the students and parents of St. Gabriel School. And this was very, very unfortunate. Why would the driver, for example, drive the car at night? And they know the regulations by law is by 10 p.m. And by Ministry of Education, they have given them an advice of 6 p.m. So what were they doing at midnight? What were they doing? That is human error. Number two, along that stretch, we are informed that there were some repairs, and therefore there were some materials on this side of the road, on the left side of the road. And that's why then maybe they might have been forced to go inside towards the right. But then they knew that road, those people were coming from that place. So they knew the road. So what was happening with the driver? Why didn't the driver know that the road is under repair? What was happening? You see, so that what I'm trying to say, Yusuf, is as much as we address, because if you look at the regulations are there in terms of guideline. The government has given, traffic, NTSA has given the regulation. Look,
and I'm sure, Honorable Kosing, most people.
So what's happening?
Yes, the regulations are there. Most people are asking, where are the law enforcers? Because there are a lot of roadblocks, I'm sure, between Mombasa and Mwingi. We're going to talk about that shortly. But let me Dickson Mbugo. This is another individual who has a lot of experience when it comes to matters transport in this country. Mr. Mbugo, you've seen the statistics there that I've just read. We've compared road accident fatalities. In 2017, we've compared it to 2018, and the numbers seem to be increasing. I'm sure there are serious questions that are supposed to be asked, right?
In fact, thank you for inviting me for this show. In regard to, I would want to pose this kind of contribution, that we need to do a lot in terms of road safety or road crashes, so that at least we are able to get qualified people. All of them, including the pedestrian, the truckers, the PSV drivers, that includes even the school buses, and also the motorists, so that at least we get qualified drivers, motorists on our roads. And the other thing, of course, we have to stick to the statute. We have to the rules and the regulations that have been put in place. If this bus was coming all the way from Mombasa with the driver that had driven it to Mombasa and then coming back with it, of course, he's a human being. He must have gotten tired and fatigued and what have you. That's one omission that the school did not take care of. The other thing, of course, as the chairman of the parliamentary committee has indicated, the driver knew very well the status of the road just to Kitui, because he's a regular motorist on that road. He's really taken care. Number 3, we are supposed to have at least mobile traffic officers checks like we used to have in the 80s, in the 90s, that we have beside the roadblock. We need to have what we call mobile road checks, so that at least the police keep on moving to the other end, so that they are able to note those drivers or motorists who are misbehaving on our road, thus resulting to road crashes. Yes.
Let me bring in Peter Murima from the Kenya Motorists Association to the discussion. Peter, you've seen the statistics once again, and Kenya is ranked among countries that has dangerous roads, with 1,000 lives lost annually through road accidents. Actually, road accidents now kill more people than malaria, I'm told, in Kenya.
Yes.
So you've seen the statistics there. The number keep on increasing. God forbid, December, we know what happens on our roads. Most people lose their lives during that month. What do you think needs to be done moving forward?
Yes, the situation is quite worrying. And we can say that as we speak, the road carnage is slant out of hand. And mostly this is because of general lawlessness, which we are finding on our roads. But we cannot fail to blame, to look at the causes of the accidents. These accidents have causes. And we have the driver error, which the parliamentary chair has pointed out. We also have the element of road design, which in this matter, which is a very serious matter where we lose our young ones who are, our children are quite innocent. They don't know. They are trusting their parents, adults, to ensure their safety. So these are the causes of, this was mainly contributed by road design. And we have been complaining for a very long time that road design is being ignored by the government. And mostly it becomes easy to blame the driver. And in fact, sometimes even putting the statistics or the driver error margin very high. Well, if you look at the contributory factor of the authorities, where we are supposed to have the correct enforcement, the correct road design, the correct type of vehicle design. That is, buses are supposed to be built in a special way, especially for school buses in other countries. This is what happens. So when we have those elements of bad policy, transport policy, then I don't know who we can blame for the bad transport policy apart from...
But surely, Peter, you cannot blame road designs, with regards to most of the drivers who are, of course, involved in these accidents. One thing stands out, that most of these drivers have been known to be speeding. So you can't blame that on road designs, right? Yes.
There is general lawlessness, as I have said, involving drivers and their competence as well. You find that the indiscipline goes up even to the law enforcer, because as it was said here, the bus came all the way from Mombasa at night. We have rules which are never enforced.
I'm going to quote the law with regards to that, but let me bring in Honorable Kosing back to this discussion. Mishima, you've heard what Peter has raised there. Of course, he has talked about the fact that there are drivers who are reckless. But he has mentioned something else, that, road designs are partly to blame for the rampant cases of accidents that we're witnessing on our roads. Is that the case?
You see, I want to say to him, when you talk about road design, then you have to give an example of, say, look, this road and so on. Maybe you can say about terrain, but not about road design. I think we have the best road designers in the world in Kenya. And I will challenge him to go and visit this road, which was done by Kenya. in Mombasa, you know, behind where SGR is, in a place called Dongokundu. If you were to look at that road, look at even the thicker superhighway that was designed by our own people, our own Kenyans, you would just love it. But I think, let me say this, we are quickly running to blames. You know, blame road design, blame who. Let us look at statistics, Yusuf. And if you want to help this country, as we have done, and you have done good by inviting us to share with you and share with the country, let us address the idea and fact that 80% of our accidents are caused by human error. To be honest, let's go back there and look at that. Look, we are also saying that within NTSA, which is providing safety, we are saying what material is to build a bus. Whether that's a school bus or public bus, what material is that? We are seeing, you know, when there's an accident, like even this one, which you saw down there, you know, it is, the body is coming out like it's a, and that's why we came up with this standardization of how to build a bus. And I'm urging NTSA and the traffic police, and now issue certificate of bus building companies with proper materials to build a bus. Because if, for example, that bus had the proper material building a bus, it would have saved a number of people who died, who would not have died. Just because when a bus is hit, you know, the body just comes out like a paper. And, you know, and now what happens? It is the people who are becoming casualties. We have moved forward. We have had this regulation in place. That's why I'm telling you, it is in place as I talk to you. The standard way of building a bus is in this country. It's done by government, it's done by NTSA. Nobody seems to be following. And as you said earlier, this bus was traveling at night. Where were the traffic police? Where was the roadblock? So you find that I think we are lazy as a people, you know, from the law enforcement and from the people also driving the cars. I think we are lazy.
Yes,
no,
once again, I'm going to quote the law with regards to what it says about school buses. But let me bring in Peter once again. Yes. Let me give him a right of reply there. Peter, you've talked about road designs. Now the Parliamentary Committee Chair on Transport is challenging you to explain that further. And with regards to that, I saw a Facebook update from the Kenya Motorist Association. Of course, you're the chair, and this is what it said with regards to that Saturday accident. Rest in peace, innocent pupils. Very sad to lose young people on failed driver competence, riddled with fake driving tests and training, road designs and bus designs. This is not an accident, but homicide. Are you saying that there are those who are being issued with fake driving licenses out there?
Yeah, yes, this is a big problem because our driving competence, we can blame the issuing authority. We don't get proper driver training. And those who are passed as drivers in our country, if you look at the driving styles on our roads, the overlapping and the general lawlessness, you will find that these drivers are actually giving drivers a bad name. But all in all, road design, we have instances where the government is taking action, and we are happy after great lobbying. Salga, that has been a great place where lives are lost. We also have Thika Road, where the guardrails snap. The guardrails, if a vehicle comes, because these guardrails are supposed to prevent head-ons. And the general two-way traffic, kind of two-way traffic roads in Kenya, we can say that they belong to the colonial era. Right now, we are supposed to have dualized roads where we can prevent the killer head-on crashes. And then when you look at our roads, you find that that's a big problem. But again, vehicle design. In other countries like US, we have buses which, even if they were too low, they are built with the correct material, and the chair of Parliamentary Committee on Transport has emphasized that our bus designs, in fact, even our vehicles. Right now, we have a problem with some vehicles which are being used for taxi, and they do not meet the safety standards of crashes. So if we just do knee-jerk reactions whenever Kenyans lose lives, and when we have like 10 rhinos were died and there was an uproar, but when we are having these people all over the road, nobody is worried about this, and actually innocent lives should not be lost in this with this magnitude.
Yes, and I'm informed that there's a new directive by Machakos County government. I'm going to engage the Governor, Alfred Mutua, shortly. But let me bring Mbugo back into this discussion. And Mbugo, if you look at the Traffic Amendment Act of this is something that the chair, Kosing, has already talked about, that school buses are allowed to be on the road up until 10 p.m. only. And earlier this year, I remember the then Education Cabinet Secretary Fred Matiang'i had a different directive saying that these buses should be on the road up until 6 p.m. The accident that occurred along Mwingi Road on Saturday night at 11 p.m. Would you say that there's some sort of an inefficiency on the side of the police, bearing in mind that there are a lot of roadblocks once again between Mombasa and Mwingi?
Yeah, thank you very much. I tend to think I would want to concur with Mr. Matiang'i, the Minister for Internal Security, when he was the Minister for Education. In fact, they should be restricted up to maybe 7 p.m. After 7 p.m., they can sleep overnight, wherever they are. The schools and colleges and what have you should be prepared for that kind of extra cost. Number two, I would want to dispute about the status of the roads. I am a board member of Kenya Urban Roads Authority for 6 years, and we have been trying to make those amendments in terms of the potholes, the widening the road, and what have you. And as we continue, or the various road agents continue expanding the road and taking care of those anomalies, our drivers should be driving very carefully on our road. They know the status of our road. Why overspeed, you see, and why bring some vehicles which are unroadworthy to the roads? And the other issue is that of the structure of the buses. The NTSA, in collaboration with the KEBS, I think have developed the standard body for coaches, including the matatus and the buses. I don't know why it has taken long to implement, to enforce, so that at least they give it a timeline. Say from January 2019, this body will be applicable, these standards and what have you will have to be given to the fabricators of the school buses and the matatus and what have you, so that at least you are able now to have one standard of the body that can cater and absorb those kind of crashes. And then, of course, let it be known, in this country we don't have chassis for the buses. Either school bus or the buses, we don't have chassis for that. What we have are trucks, 3-tonner, 4-tonner, even 7-tonner, whatever it is. These are truck chassis whereby we mount or fabricate the coach on them. So when it comes to really center of gravity, it's quite high, not low as it would be with the buses chassis. And last but not least, let's carry out an effective road safety campaign kind of a thing, because road safety is a collective responsibility for every Kenyan citizen who moves himself or machine and everything on the roads.
Now, let me take our viewers to Machakos, where earlier today, Machakos Governor, that is Dr. Alfred Mutua, said no school bus will be allowed to drive in the county past 7 p.m. The governor also decried laxity in enforcement of transport regulations, especially at night. Let's listen into what he had to say first.
Sisi katika kaunti ya Machakos hatutakubali watu kuumia kwa sababu ya watu kuwa hawataki kufuata sheria. Kwa hivyo tumepewa nguvu na sheria tofauti, katiba na zingine, na tutakubali watu kuendelea kuwa na maisha ambayo ni ya kiolelo-lela kuvunja sheria. Kwa hivyo tunatangaza yafuatayo. Kwanza, hatutakubali kabisa gari la shule kuendeshwa katika barabara za Machakos County, either zikiwa zinaenda kwa shule ya Machakos County ama sheria ya Machakos County, ama zikienda kwa county nyingine zikipitia Machakos County baada ya saa 1 za jioni. Ikiwa kuna shule ambayo imebeba watoto, gari imebeba watoto wa shule, itapatikana gari hiyo, basi hiyo itakamatwa. Dereva na watu ambao pengine walimu ama wazazi ambao ni watu wazima wenye gari hiyo pia watakamatwa na kuweka korokoroni, na watoto watachukuliwa na kupelekwa mahali pazuri, mahali ambapo watalala na kulishwa mpaka kesho yake.
Now on the line, I have Governor Alfred Mutua to tell us more about that school bus night travel ban in his county. Governor, good evening. Welcome to the program. And now we've had a similar directive, I believe, earlier this year by the then Education Cabinet Secretary, Dr. Fred Matiang'i. But the problem since then has been enforcement. With the new directive, how are you planning to enforce this?
I've already created an enforcement unit, so I'm not just leaving it generally to the police to do it. And we're very clear, we're going to use the public. And you know, it is easier for us in a county, it's a smaller area, and our roads are not as many, to do the policing. I bought security vehicles, 120, so I have inspectorate vehicles. All our roads are manned or womaned by vehicles. Therefore, we'll not have a problem because they'll be on the lookout, not just for school vehicles being driven at night, but also for unroadworthy cars. For example, we have said we do not want to see any car emitting smoke on Machakos roads. So before you enter Machakos, you make sure that your car does not emit smoke, or otherwise we'll tow you, we'll stop you, and you'll pay a fine of 150,000.
Yes.
If your car is unroadworthy, you know, kuna lorry, unaona barabara ni straight, but it's facing sideways, you pay 200,000 shillings. So this is a comprehensive program that we've thought through, that we've been talking about, and now this is the right time to implement it.
With regards to the directive of banning school buses at night, do you think this is going to reduce, accidents with regards to county? Because most people are accusing, drivers who are not having little regard for traffic laws.
I don't think so. You know what usually happens, if you look at the accidents that have happened where we've lost children, they all mostly happen at night. You know, there's an aspect of fatigue. People are tired. You woke up, you went to here, it's late. You should not be driving school children at night. Every child should be at home by 7 p.m. in the evening. So, in Machakos, we are saying, it does not matter whether you have come from Machakos or you're in transit using Machakos or Mombasa or any other road in Mombasa, Machakos. If it's after 7, a school bus, regardless whether it's a school from Kisumu, from Mombasa, from Kakamega, from Kisii, from Mwingi, it does not matter. You will not be allowed to drive that bus through Machakos Road. If you want to pass Machakos and you have a bus, a school bus with children, fly. Just fly that bus, but not on our road. And we are going to make sure we enforce it thoroughly, and we are going to lock up the driver, lock up the parents or teachers in that vehicle, and before the bus is released, our laws are very clear, you will pay 50,000 shillings. So the parents will have, so it is a deterrent that will tell people, you can do this elsewhere, but not in Machakos, not play around with Machakos.
Governor Mutua, one final question. If you look at the Traffic Amendment Act of 2017, school buses are allowed to be on the road until 10 p.m. We've had even before a directive by the Education Cabinet Secretary, Fred Matiang'i, it seems that did not bear any fruit. So don't you think this new directive by your county government is going to contradict this law?
It does not matter. For us, that is what we've decided. We know it is good to obey the law, but we'll see. Let the people who are arrested first, let the people who are fined, let them tell us that we are going against the law. But in the meantime, we'll have really shown them that we do not agree with some of these habits. I mean, where else does this happen? You go to the US, I lived in the US, I lived in Australia, even you go to South Africa. No kids are driven at night. Why do we have to do it in our country? Why are we killing our children? You know, a parent gives birth to a child, you take care of that child throughout their childhood, unawasomesha, you look at them, and then the children are killed because we are not able to organize ourselves well. And so, because it's very clear the accident is happening at night, let's not have any buses being driven after, after 7 p.m.
Thank you very much, Governor Mutua, for that. That is Dr. Alfred Mutua, Machakos Governor, speaking to me by your phone. And still in studio, I have David Kosingo, the Chairman, Parliamentary Committee on Transport, Dickson Bugu, and Peter Murima. We'll continue with this conversation right here on the big story, even at a time where we are getting, disturbing statistics from Kenya with regards to road accidents. 3,000 people lose their lives every year through road accidents. What needs to be done moving forward? We'll continue with this discussion after this very short break. Stay with us. We'll be right back.